Ashley Graham is a Resident Evil character that a lot of fans either really love or really hate, which is why today I'm going to talk about 10 ways that Capcom can improve her character in the upcoming Resident Evil 4 remake. Before we jump into it, make sure to subscribe for future Resident Evil news and content, and with that being said, let's get into it.
Resident Evil 4.
Number 1. Make her character less annoying. Please, Capcom. No more, Leon, help! I think all of us can agree that is arguably one of the most annoying things about her character in the original game. Her constantly screaming for Leon every 2 seconds when she's literally 2 feet away. So in the remake, you can obviously have Ashley say help at some point just to give us that nostalgia factor, but please don't make her say it every 5 seconds, okay? I think players are gonna lose their minds. Number 2, let Ashley use a gun, or at the very least, let Ashley use a melee weapon. Okay, for example, maybe at some point in the game, Leon hallucinates and then he passes out. This would allow us, the player, to switch over as Ashley, and maybe she picks up his handgun and she must make her way through the castle to find a cure. I feel like this would build up Ashley's character and let her become a strong individual by the end of the game. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Should Ashley be able to use a gun at some point? Moving on, give Ashley a mechanic where she can push back enemies when she's being attacked. In the original game, an enemy can grab Ashley and it's game over. You have to go over, shoot the enemy, and then they drop her. Again, she is not the strongest character. She is not a military trained individual, but she's still a human being. She has functional arms. Allow her to push back enemies when she's being grabbed by someone. Allow Ashley to push back Ganados to buy Leon some time so he can run over and help her out. Number 4, expand Ashley's story / character development arc. Now, for my Resident Evil lore people out there, what is Ashley's major in college? Because she's a college student because she got abducted on her way home from college. What if Ashley's major is in computer science? That way the game can take Ashley's major and fit that into the story. Maybe you get to a section where a computer broke down and you need someone to fix it. Boom, Ashley's a computer science major, so she can go up, fix the computer, and boom, the story progresses. Or maybe Ashley is just really good with technology and her technology skills could come handy in the story. This remake heavily needs to improve Ashley's story. In the original game, it felt like she didn't have too much character development, in my honest opinion. So this remake could take advantage of that and allow Ashley to expand her character so she could actually become a fan favorite character instead of this random girl that people find annoying. Number 5, allow Ashley to find and pick up items while Leon is occupied. You have to think about this in a realistic situation. If you're Leon and you're protecting somebody, are they just gonna stand behind you 24/7? Leon is like a role model to Ashley. When you see your hero defending you and doing all these heroic things, you would be inspired. Leon is a hero. He is a leader to Ashley. She would be inspired, so throughout the game, her confidence would be built up. So while you are fighting off Ganados, allow Ashley to maybe go behind you or search the area and pick up items. Number 6, let Ashley climb down ladders and open doors without Leon needing to help her 24/7. Let me just remind people that in the original game, Ashley literally gets up in the giant vehicle and operates it like nothing. Almost like Ashley is this crazy mechanic that knows what she's doing. Like, what? You can't jump down a ladder, but you can operate this big vehicle? So in the remake, please, Capcom, allow Ashley to climb down ladders and open doors without the help from Leon. Okay, so moving on. This next point is more of a story thing than an actual mechanic. Now, I seriously want to know what you guys think about this. Let Ashley be the one who finds the dog instead of Leon. Okay, so in the original game, obviously the dog is trapped in the bear trap. And if you help the dog, eventually later on in the game, he helps you during the El Gigante boss fight. But in the remake, I think Ashley should be the one to find the dog, and here's why. Let Ashley find the dog and then allow them to have this little moment between each other where Ashley feels this attachment towards this dog. And then later in the game, okay, this might sound emotional, but if something bad happens to the dog, allow Ashley to have this emotional moment with the dog where Ashley's crying and she's tearing up because of, you know, the bad thing that happened to the dog. This would get the viewers more engaged with Ashley's character. Allow Ashley to have an emotional scene with the viewers. Number 8. Take away the mechanic where Leon can tell Ashley to hide. Basically, in the original game, there were certain like barrels and just certain hiding spots that Leon can tell Ashley to hide in. Take this mechanic away in the remake. It doesn't make sense. The only time that Leon should tell Ashley to hide somewhere is when there's about to be a boss fight.
You better stay outside. Ashley, go hide.
Yeah.
Because in the original game, again, Ashley is not a little kid. She's a grown adult. She's not as trained as Leon. She's not as confident and, you know, as fearless as Leon, but she's still a grown human being. It doesn't make sense to tell Ashley to hide every 2 seconds. So maybe when there's about to be a boss fight or when a boss fight does happen, Ashley can then run away and hide somewhere. But don't make it to the point where Ashley is completely useless and that she's just there for the sake of the story. Number 9, allow Ashley to be a distraction for Leon. For example, if you're fighting a wave of enemies and there are just way too many enemies, allow Ashley to shout at them. And maybe some of them get distracted and they start going for Ashley. And it would bring this great dynamic where it feels like Ashley is actually part of the fight. I think Ashley's escort missions in the original game are well done, but in the remake, I feel like they need to take advantage of the escort missions a little bit more. Yes, Leon is there to protect Ashley. Yes, he is there to save her. But again, she's still a grown human being. So throughout the game, allow her confidence to be built up, and then she actually starts helping out Leon. Maybe she's not much of a help, but she's still there helping in some degree. And last but not least, start off the game with Ashley Graham. So obviously, in the original game, we get that iconic intro sequence.
I received special training via a secret organization working under the direct control of the president.
And then we start off the game as Leon, and we don't find Ashley until much later in the game when you get inside the church. In the remake, I think the game should start off with Ashley. Allow us to have some context on how she was captured and what she does to escape. Remember in the beginning of Resident Evil Village where Ethan is completely defenseless and the atmosphere is just so creepy and scary because it's dark and you hear things running around you. So this would be perfect for the remake to start off as Ashley and then maybe she gets captured, and that's when we transfer over to Leon. But those are 10 ways that Capcom can improve Ashley in the remake. Do you guys agree or do you disagree with me? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments. But thank you all so much for watching, and until next time.